Good morning. That's right. I said morning. 9 o'clock out here on the best coast, the West Coast, California. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and it should be about 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You guys are just in time for what the Mark's Love Experience is presenting today. Another episode of Writer's Block. Writer's Block. It's play on words. It's not about people just being able to be creative, but actual I like to call it a hangout for us creative types to network, to talk to each other, to test out our films, our poetry, our books, even our music amongst ourselves. And everyone out there looking out there in the broadcast, the audience, those of you who are inspired by us writers. And we're here today with a special guest. She's a sci-fi author. Her name is S Y Humphreys. And you guys prepare for a reckoning of perfect society. I'll leave it just at that. You guys got to get ready for perfect society. This offers works, my personal opinion. It falls right in line what's going on today. Of all the trials and tribulations that this country has been going through, and now the whole world sees it. So that's just my opinion. Those of you guys in the audience in the chat who want to chime in, if you disagree with me, hey, you know what? Come on in, join up with Writer's Block, and let's see if we have her here.
Hey Marcus, can you hear me?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Let me get myself.
Ah, I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. Oh, people don't know about that. Shannon and I have known each other for at least what, years, 19, 20 years.
We've probably known each other maybe. I met you all in
2000.
14. No, it wasn't that long ago. I was in law school back then, but 14 years ago. So it's probably been a little over 10 years. Um,
Yeah, this is
I
the last time I saw you. Yeah.
No, I think we met around 2006. I moved to California in 2005,
Mhm.
and I probably met you all about a year into me living here. So, and I haven't seen you in probably over 10 years.
At
So,
least 10 years.
at least, yeah. So you look
You looking
good.
good. Look at you. Oh my God.
Tired. Sorry.
You tell everybody we were 17 years old when we met each other. We're gonna, that's our story. We're sticking to it. We're not, I
I'll
don't
go.
really care.
I'll go with that. I'll go with
Yes.
that.
You were 17. I was 17 and a half. So you guys, we, anyway, I forget this isn't a personal conversation, is it? Oh, look at you. You got a little drink there. I
We
see.
go.
This is water.
We.
I won't hold you too long. I know you're a busy woman, a busy writer. You also practice law when you're not writing bestsellers. So
Mhm.
understand your
Aw,
time is precious.
you're so
Um,
sweet.
oh, thank you. Thank you for coming on the Writer's Block. Um, and I told you that SY. You go by your initials for your works, but
Mhm.
Shannon, if you don't mind me telling people that
No. Yeah.
on the
Yeah, no.
screen. So professionally, you're known as SY Humphrey,
Mhm.
team science fiction writer.
Mhm.
People who don't know as well as I do, they want to know the origins of Shannon.
Mhm.
Basically, how can I start? Well, you know what? Let's just get to know you. Tell us basically, when did you know that you were a writer?
As a child, I'm a very expressive person. So I used to, I'm an artist by nature, and I knew that always. Um, so my loves were dance, acting, and writing in that order. I wanted to be a Janet Jackson dancer. I talk about that all the time.
I
And
never knew that.
I really, really wanted to be a dancer so bad. Excuse me, I'm having this coffee, but wanted to be a dancer really badly as a kid. And then as I got older, I would act and I would write some of my own monologues and for drama class and things like that. And I really enjoyed books. They were a really good escape from me. I'm from Arkansas, as you know. That's where I moved here from, and I met you guys back in the day. Um, and being from Arkansas, you're not really exposed to a whole lot as a young black kid, especially when it comes to success and education and things like that, and any particular path to success. So books were a real big escape for me. So Native Son, the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, and adventure stories, and that's how it started, is reading about people's adventures. So when I knew that that wasn't really going to work out or pay the bills extensively, and I decided to go to law school because I felt that I always needed a foundation of security, a way to take care of myself and pay bills if I had to. But how could I hold on to that piece of the artist in me? And a way to do that was through the writing. And so I wrote a piece, a monologue, when I was 17 years old that wound up getting me a scholarship to college. Um, I wrote many monologues over the years that got me accepted here and there, a lot. And even as a lawyer, a lot of jobs I was able to secure through my writing. People really love my writing. It has always been my saving grace. Um, it's always carried me more so than any of my other passions or talents. So, uh, writing has just always been the force in my energy for me. Kind of like I don't know what superhero I should name right now. Iron Man has that thing in the middle of his chest, right? And it
Hmm.
powers him and it lights up and it gives him all these abilities. Well, that's kind of what writing has admittedly done for me over the last 20 to 25 years. Um, so I've always known from a very young age the power of that writing can have to communicate to others and also at the same time feed me.
Oh, God. And here, but I knew everything about you. I didn't know all that. Just writing, but you had other loves and passions. Well, thank God that you focus on this one because we get to see your works. I am so proud of you because I know you've been
Thank
working on several stories. And I remember we used to, we used to have our little coffee shop. I won't say the name of the coffee shop. Everybody gets figured out by now.
you.
Uh, we used to hang out where all the artists used to hang out at. It's closed now.
Mhm, mhm,
Ladera
mhm.
Heights, they closed it down. So, but we used to learn
Yeah.
off of each other, man. And I knew,
Mhm.
um, I think when I met you, you were studying for the bar, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was studying to become a lawyer, and
you did
I
it.
passed the bar. A year after we met, I would study for the bar up there. And in 2007, I passed it. So
I know.
and mhm.
I know
Yeah.
people who
Yeah.
took it 3 or 4 times to pass this. That's very impressive
Mhm.
right there.
Mhm.
You were
Mhm.
focused. If you're focused that much on the law, I knew you would be focused on your fiction writing. So
Mhm.
it's like, well, whom were your influences after you discovered that this is your passion? Whom were your influences, if any, that kind of pushed you into this?
Oh, wow. My writing influences were Octavia Butler and George Orwell, especially George Orwell, because his theories and concepts in his books are very profound. Dystopian societies where governments change names and erase history and control people's minds and feed them entertainment to keep them preoccupied from the problems that are going on in the world. You know,
Mhm.
I was reading that around the time that we were all hanging out with each other, and thinking to myself, it only confirmed what I had already been knowing, which is that books are an immense writing is an amazing way to open people's minds. You're not talking, you have their undivided attention when they're reading your writing. They're not watching TV, they're not doing anything else. They're tapped in to what you have to say, and if you can hold that attention and do it in an entertaining way, you can teach without preaching. And then that's been my next evolution. But to get back to your question, George Orwell has a remarkable way of teaching while entertaining and telling a very provocative story that is so eye-opening. I was so mind blown by 1984, and then I had enjoyed Animal Farm when I was in the seventh grade. I really, really enjoyed that. So uh, and right now I'm reading Neil Schusterman. He wrote The Scythe, which is really, I'm really having fun with that. It's a young adult dystopian book. And I, I would, George Orwell was probably one of my earlier science fiction influences.
I've read so many of those kind of books. Um, George Orwell, it seems he influenced a lot of people,
Hmm.
whether they wrote science fiction or not. I think he was. I mean, I think people
Hmm.
sleep on that guy.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
really do.
Hmm.
So that leads us into this series that you're doing. The Skin Trials series. It's
Hmm.
a female lead in it, right?
Yes,
And
yeah.
I remember when we first met, we were talking about that, how I had a hard time writing female leads.
Mm,
And I'm a little bit better at it now, but it's like I'm still working on perfecting it because I'm so used to speaking from the man's point of view.
mm-hmm.
But tell everybody about this series because it's available at your website, shannonhumphrey.com. Everyone looking out after this broadcast is on YouTube. They'll see it scrolling around the crawl right there. The Skin Wars is your upcoming book, but Skin
Mhm,
Trials is available now at your website and it pushes you right into Amazon.com. People can download it.
mhm,
Um,
mhm. Yeah.
can you kind of tell us? I think it's better for the writer to say it. I don't want to give it all away. I'd rather have you say it because it's your baby, you birthed it.
Mhm,
Tell
mhm,
tell us what's it about,
mhm,
and basically, if you have any influences in sci-fi that how can I say inspire you to write this series, or any outside influences of the genre. Who knows who your muse was? Only you know. So if you want to tell us that, it's cool. If you don't, I'll respect your privacy. But
Oh.
tell us, give us a detailed synopsis of the story and who or whatever, how many influences you had to even start this series. Because I want to know.
So there were I don't think there were any influences this okay, I'll take that back. Yes, there was. So, I'm a political junkie, and I worked on Capitol Hill right before I went to law school. That's where I was 20 years ago. So I was in Washington, D.C., working for Congressman Vic Snyder. And so, I love politics. There's politics in every single one of my books. Um, Girls going up against powerful political figures who have all this power and they're consumed with it. So that is the baseline of probably every book I write. Hope Defined was the first book that I ever published back in 2013. I started writing
Okay.
it when that was what I was writing when you and
Hope to find. Yeah.
Hope Defined, and I published that, and it did okay. But at that time, people weren't. There was no Black Panther at that point, so people thought that it was a good story, but it's not. It wasn't time in 2013. We weren't there yet. Young adult girls who make young adult books popular were not there yet. I'm not really sure that they're still there. And I write in the young adult fiction genre. Uh, so then uh, Donald Trump was elected, and I had been
Mhm.
struggling. I had been struggling with this concept over the for the a year or two, I struggled with the concept of uh, a girl who struggles with her identity and she wants to switch. And it's a racial identity, and many black women have dealt with this because we see the treatment that other women get that we don't get. And even though we're proud of our blackness, that goes without saying, there are times when, as a black woman, you're going to wonder what it's like to be on the other side, to not have to carry so much on your back and to get away with so much that women of other races can get away with. Yes, and that's not to be divisive among women. That's not what it's about. I have so many friends that are multiple races that influence me and impact me and teach me in little ways and big ones. But that having been said, black women get the short end of the stick when it comes to being a woman. So women already have to go through so much. Black women even more so because we're not valued as much as other women. So throwing all that in, uh, I had the idea for a woman who wanted to switch. And my husband and I went back and forth about it. And he said, people aren't going to like that. They're not, white people aren't going to read it because they don't want to hear about it. And then black women probably aren't going to read it either because they're going to be irritated that a black woman wants to switch. Um, the sellout. Uh,
Hmm.
so in our debates, he made the suggestion of making a little adjustment. And I'm not going to tell what that adjustment is because I'm not going to give the story away. But I went with it because it sounded compelling. And it was 2016. It was the year of the Donald Trump. So in 2017, I wrote the first draft of Skin Trials. It was called Stroke of Midnight at first. Um, then it became Skin Trials because that was a more commercial, it was a more commercial title. So, and when you're an indie, which I am an indie publisher, I have to do things in a way that would sell and capture people's attention commercially. I have to think about
Hmm.
the marketing aspect of things always. So I wrote the first draft of Skin Trials in 2017. It was based on that concept of a girl, a teenager who's 17 years old, and she's stuck, and she's not the typical. I didn't want the typical dystopian character. I didn't want Katniss from Hunger Games exactly. You
Thank you.
know, somebody who starts at the bottom and then works their way up. I thought of it in terms of what if we take somebody who's at the top and bring them down? And so that's where the book starts. She's one of the most powerful women in the world. I modeled her based on Ivanka Trump. Um,
Really?
I did. And because Ivanka Trump is the daughter of a very powerful man now. She's got a lot of money, she's got wealth, influence, and title. Why would she walk away from that? Why would she give that up? Even though she's the perfect dichotomy between right and wrong. You see that your father isn't, and Ivanka Trump knows that her father is not always on the right side of the issues, that what kind of man he is. That's why she never appears in a lot of the photos with him. that's why that's why she hides sometimes during his most controversial moments. She's out
Hmm.
golfing, she's out skiing. Her husband, and her family, they always disappear when Donald Trump says and does things to get him in hot water. She's trying to be as far away from him as possible. So her absence is kind of a tacit admission that she is aware of the toxicity and poison of her father. And at the same time, on the other hand, that's your father. You can't disown him. What are you gonna? You can become kind of like I can't remember Mia Farrow's son who speaks out against Woody Harrelson, and he writes all those pieces.
I can't
And
recall. I
but
can't remember his name right now, but I know who
but
you're
you
talking about.
the
Yeah,
he's an
he's very
invest
vocal.
he's an
Yeah.
investigative journalist, and he goes up against his father, and he's just made a conscious decision. I'm going to confront my father. I'm going to fight him. I'm going to challenge him on everything.
And you think it? I'm not going to sidetrack you, but maybe it's harder when a woman wants to do that.
Yeah, of course.
Because
Of
for a man,
course.
it's man the man. Because when I
You
wanted my father, it was easier. Just man, he was kind of proud of me before he passed.
mhm,
But when it's the daughter with the father,
mhm, mhm,
yeah, and
mhm.
he's the highest. He's the public
He
leader
he's the
in the world. So I can imagine your character is based on her, and she has to go against that. Wow, that's a good concept.
he's the patriarch of your family. He's the source of your money. He's the source of your wealth. He's the source of your name. Her name is not Ivanka Kushner because her husband's last name is Kushner.
She didn't hyphenate it.
Her you no, her name is still Ivanka Trump. She knows where that money, that power, that prestige, that influence, she knows where it all comes from.
And we can
And
just imagine if her trying to make a fall going because she's already at the top, like you said.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
So,
mhm.
man,
So if she so and then I added an extra layer to that, and that's where skin I to this internal conflict and struggle. I added an extra layer because she finds out a truth about something that he did concerning her. Um, that and that's where that's where some other elements come in that are very I'm hoping are very provocative, and that's where her journey begins. And then in Skin Wars, it picks up in a major way because now
now
America is at the
tell people Skin Wars. It's book two of the series, right?
book two. Yeah, but Skin. Thank you, Skin, for clarifying that. Skin Wars is book two of the series. Um, and I was supposed to have it finished at the end of the year, but I didn't because I
You
was
mean of
told
last year,
of
2019?
2019. It was
Uh-huh.
supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out end of 2019, early 2020, and I put it on ice because people still were not ready. And you would think that because Black Panther came out 2.5 years ago, you would think that there's been
Yeah, Black
an
Panther the
you
movie,
know.
not the comic, but the movie itself.
Right. I didn't even know about Black Panther, for a long time. I didn't know about any Black Panther when I started writing science fiction. I just felt science fiction needed to be written. I needed to see myself doing in the supernatural world, in space, in otherworldly situations, because when we communicate that to our people, it's possible, and we plant the seed of possibility within them. You Let's give them something to worry about or something to consider or envision besides struggle. Yes, we need to accept and embrace the struggle, but let's embrace the struggle with something higher in mind to aspire to, something that could give you hope when you are living in your car, out on the front porch, out in the streets, working two jobs. Some of the things that I've done, I haven't slept in a car, but I have had to work two jobs as well as go to school in order to make sure that I stayed afloat financially. So, um, I didn't publish Skin Wars right away after Skin Trials because I knew that the world was not ready, and I wanted to start working on fiction that the world was ready for. I think that the world is ready now, so now I'm gonna have to get on it and get it in shape and get it in order, and I'm gonna try to get it out this summer. Half of it is written, in Skin Wars, you're not just dealing with Saren Jernigan, who is the Ivanka Trump like character. You're also dealing with the people who've been impacted by what her father has done. You're dealing with other people. You're dealing with the communities. You're dealing with Black people who are fed up, and they've been genetically modified. So they've got more power, more physical capabilities. In
Now,
that
who's been
society.
genetically modified?
Okay, so Black
Or
boys.
or the main character?
Yes, she has been genetically modified. Select people have been genetically modified for the purpose of money. But this happens over a period of years. So the events for Skin Trials, I think they took place. There are three novellas. I have to remember all this now because I did it a year ago. But there are three novellas. One is A
The
Perfect
Perfect
Society,
Society
as
was the
I
first
said.
one.
hmm A Perfect Society is a novella, and that takes place in, I think, in 2023 or 24, in 2 or 3 years from now. Then there's Mi Sueño Perfecto, and even though I chose a Spanish name, it's written in English, even though the main characters are Latinos, and it starts in Honduras, and then it works its way
I
into
like the
the
title. I
United
was
States.
looking at that, and my girl said, "Why she put that in there?" I said, "I'll find out when I interview." I thought, because it's in English when you look at the preview and
Hmm.
the title in Spanish. I thought it was cool. So, what was the third title now?
Then the third title is The Perfect Fight. The Perfect Fight, about a white girl down in Texas named Galilee, and she's a badass. So the three novellas are short stories about the lives of the rebels who will fight in skin wars.
That's smart.
That's the foretell. So if you want to know about Galilee and how she came to be, you can go read The Perfect Fight. If you want to read about um, God, I can't remember the main character's name of A Perfect Society, because I wrote A Perfect Society. I wrote that before I wrote Skin Trials. I wrote it in 2017. So forgive me. Pepper Pickens. If you want to know about Pepper Pickens, because she finances some of the movement. Um, Her father was a secret agent, and I don't want to give it all away, but her father was a secret agent, and they've got money. They've got separate money and inheritance, and she uses some of it to finance the rebels in the Civil War that America is having. Mi Sueño Perfecto comes in because it would be unrealistic to consider a war or a future America without Latinos. It would be unrealistic. I
Thank you.
rarely, I rarely ever see Latinos in science fiction. I know that those stories exist. I've seen them. I've looked them up. Uh, I got a story that I really need to read about the science fiction writer who I think last year he ran into some trouble for inappropriate sexual conduct or statements or something that he made. I don't want to get it wrong or misquote it, but the man still wrote. He still wrote science fiction, and I respect that for the Latinos and threw it out there for them. And I know that there are other people who do it too. But as an indie science fiction writer, it's already hard enough being a person of color trying to sell this stuff to mostly white readers. So um, I felt like that needed to be in there. There's just not going to be a war of any kind. If there were to be a civil war in America, it's not going to look anything at all like the first war. It's not going to be about North versus South. I don't know that it's going to be a regional conflict so much as it happens in factions and sections among groups of people and clans who've been disenfranchised for a long time. We've got Latinos sitting in detainment camps right now during this COVID-19 crisis. It's just unrealistic to consider a future without uh, a race of people that will soon be the biggest minority in America. I don't know. They may have already overtaken Black people as the biggest minority, and I think
They have,
at
they
at
have.
some point
In
they're
certain cities, yeah.
And
Yes.
nationwide, I don't know. And at some point, they're probably going to become the biggest part of the population. So for me to write a book in 2042 and not have anything in it acknowledging Latinos, um, it would have been unrealistic. I think they should have something for themselves too, and I wanted that. I wanted that to be out there. So part of the genetic formula that is used comes from Honduras. So I thought that was a nice connection and a nice play there. It comes from a family and from an herb that had been passed down from century to century through the centuries. It was precious, and there's trees and plants down there. And of course, American military go in and
Mhm.
they destroy it and they take it and they destroy the communities there, and then some of the children they capture here and try to use them, manipulate them here, and that's how Maximiliano emerges and becomes part of this coming civil war that happens in Skin Wars Book 2. So I've built a Skin Trials world, basically.
Now I know you've been hush hush about it. It sounds good. You know what? would you want to answer some questions of people who are interested in your books or who are inspired to be authors such as yourself? Do you have enough time? Or
I do. I have enough time.
I'm looking in the chat here. Oh, excuse me, we have Amina Ali Young. It's a pretty name. Her name is Amina
It
Ali.
is.
And also Chef Aurel Young. I'm going to assume no relations, but who knows? I spoke to both of these ladies separately, and this is a chat room, you ladies. They both. One of them who said you have. I'm going to quote her. She said, "This is what Amina Ali Young said. I just call her Ali. Her middle name. She is so smart and reading. Wow, it's over my head." So she's looking at some of your previews now.
Oh,
And I were talking earlier this week and this morning. So um,
thank you. Thank you very
trans,
much.
it's because it's transracial. So what you were talking about, how you have
Mhm.
characters
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
how you
Mhm.
develop them. So
Mhm.
man, I'm proud of you. Let me see. You
Oh.
guys are in the chat. You ladies want to ask? I have Shannon here. Oh, they don't want to.
I understand, but
How's that?
thank you so much. I try. I do try.
No, I just knew that you were always meticulous because maybe it's because of the profession you have. Because you're a writer, but you're a lawyer on the side.
Mhm.
It's your
Mhm.
job. I'm messing with you. I know you. I'm just saying you're an outstanding trial lawyer. And when I
Uh,
get the title "Skin Trials," immediately I thought, is it going to be about law? Then I read, so no, I went to your website and it says science fiction. And then I
mhm.
remember we first met back in the day. You talked about how you came from Arkansas and you like to. And I used to read some of your drafts about the Arkansas girl. It was
Mhm.
by book. So that was the first one that you published in 2013, correct? Is that the
Mhm.
one that
Yes.
you let me
Hope
read?
to find. Hope to find. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm
I
gonna
know.
I'm gonna re-release that. I'm gonna
You
re-release
should.
that. I am. They're gonna have new covers and everything. There was so much I didn't know in 2013 with my first book. There was so much. Um, and of course, you know that as you get further along in your process and you learn
Mhm.
what you didn't know the first time. I don't know how to market. I hate asking people for money. I hate having to try to sell myself, so nowadays you got to do it because everybody's a writer, everybody's an author now, everybody's got a
Everybody and
book.
their mama. I know.
So those were the good old days back in
I know
2013.
before the eBooks came out.
If
Oh yeah,
I had known that
we
it
used to
was
sell
going to
them out the
blow
back
up
of
the way it
my
did,
car.
you know,
It
I
used to be so
yeah,
easy, Shannon. We used to just
yeah,
go to a coffee shop, or I used to have. I think the last book tour I did with that physical paperback. When the author Zane, you ever heard of her? She writes.
yeah, yeah,
She had
yeah.
a bookstore called Endeavors. It was in Baltimore, Maryland. I went there 2005, and it was so cold. And I just remember those people are really into their books. And they were supporting that store. It's not there anymore. I don't know if she's changed the name of it or changed locations, but when I went there, and it's like 15 years ago, I remember it was fun. But now everything's digital, ebooks. Even us right now, people were doing these kind of interviews before the COVID-19, before
Mhm,
the 6 feet distancing, that people don't be contagious.
mhm.
So it was. I kind of took that for granted. Those are the good old days.
They were, and now now uh, there thousands of books are being published to Amazon per
Mhm.
day, you know. And I just think that if I had known where it was going and it was going to blow up the way it did, I wouldn't have given up after Hope to Find. Because I think for 3 years, I went through a period where I kind of crashed. It
Mhm.
didn't take off. You have all these fantasies in your head about I'm going to be famous and I'm going to be the next J.K. Rowling, and you know, and then when it doesn't happen because you don't know how to market and you don't have a big publishing company behind you, then it's like, okay, what next? What do I do? This isn't working, and you give up and walk away from it. And I think if I had known then what I know now, I would have kept pushing. I would have understood, okay, this is going to require a long haul. It's going to require many more books. So this year 2020, I am now lining up those books. I'm not doing a whole lot of advertising, which I could, but I won't, because I want to have a body of work out there, not just two or three books, but more like six or seven before I really
Hmm.
start punching it hard and investing in advertising and getting the word out there about my writing. So yes, I have been sitting kind of quiet for these last few years, especially since Donald Trump was elected, because I want to make sure that I understand what my place can be in the movement. I don't want to just talk just to hear myself talk, or talk
Hmm.
just, there are lots of people talking. I've been to the protests, I've been to the marches, I've done Black Lives Matter. I know some of those wonderful activists. Um, I know. I did the Occupy LA movement. I went out there to the movement, to the meetings that they were having, Occupy Wall Street, back when that was really popular, the Women's March. I've done a lot of it. I've held forums, I've organized forums and community meetings, um, to talk about what we can do to change things and make things different. My mom is calling. Um, uh, Sorry about
Ella,
that.
we're
Hold on.
proud of you too.
You.
I read your bio. Your bio says you walk barefoot in the woods, in the rocks, and you.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to get the quote right. I don't want to paraphrase it. Believe it or not, she still talks to her mom frequently. Your bio. So it's kind of ironic she's calling right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She does. She's calling. She's in Arkansas.
That is so
Uh,
cool.
she's in Arkansas, and she calls me, and as soon as we get off of here, I'm gonna call her back, because we have things to talk about. So, and yeah, so we, I, she's calling back. Okay, Mama, hold on. Yeah, so, um, but I didn't know what I was doing then, and I'm still learning. It's always an ongoing process with
Yeah.
marketing, and trying to get your brand out there, and trying to figure out who you are with your writing. How do I want to be known? Do I want to write about magical beings? Do I want to write about kind of a black girl who's a Terminator? Uh, what do I want to write? What do I want to convey? Who do I want to be? And what do I want people to take away from it? That's important to me. So I have been kind of still and kind of quiet, but I'm coming out of that zone pretty soon.
Because you are not that shy young lady I met those years ago. You are really coming out your shell.
That's Mama. She's
Been
texting
through
me
a
to
lot.
call.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's so many personal issues that us people that we have that I would not talk about on this platform because it's meant to be private. That's why I always
Mhm,
focus on the work that the person does. So
mhm,
I have a lot of respect for you because I know you've worked for what you have. No one
mhm,
can ever say that it's been an easy walk for you.
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
very happy for
mhm.
you
No.
because now I'm going to have to read all of them in that order because I was going to wait for Skin Wars to come out, but since you broke it down to me, each novella was describing building up a character.
I'm going.
A book that you have a chapter on each character, and then maybe about a fourth chapter, you put them all together. You did it with a novella.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the novella format was like, I thought the novella format was interesting. It was something I wanted to try. Um,
Mhm.
Everybody has their own story, especially people who have to struggle have their own story. So isn't it? What I like about my not about my science fiction, and about my stories, and the reason why I write them, is that you can take the struggle and you can connect it with the power of something extraterrestrial, or something otherworldly, or something more powerful than you. So your struggle takes you to a place of power, it takes you higher, and people can go on that personal trajectory with the characters. So you're not just struggling anymore. You're not just somebody trying to figure out how to pay their bills, or how to get a job, or how to clear, your criminal history, or how to deal with family members that may not be the most savory or supportive people. You
Mhm.
are now somebody trying to figure out what is the secret sauce to become more powerful for the world. And you will go on to help other people as soon as you find the key. So your struggle leads to something more formidable for you personally and ultimately for other people too. That's what I try to make the science fiction stories about.
People want to know. We have a question, if you don't mind me asking. I have one question from Carly. She said, "Will Shannon be giving public readings or talks, and say in the Indigo or public library or coffee houses?"
Wow. I would love to, and I will definitely look into it. I will definitely look into that. I don't have anything scheduled as of right now. Probably it's
But you do
June.
have an email list out on your website.
I
So
do.
Carly, you ladies, because it's all women in here. I invited men and women, but I got all women in the chat. So you ladies, you can join her emailing list
I
on
do.
shannonhumphrey.com and
Hmm.
contact you directly. So you don't have to go through my big old head. You can just go directly with the artist, with the writer.
I
Okay.
do. I do have an email list,
Mhm.
and I email my subscribers maybe once a month and keep them up to date on what's going on. And I will definitely give, at the very least, a Zoom reading of some kind, or a Facebook Live reading of some of my books and novellas. I'd be more than happy to.
I'm gonna tell her right now. Typing came in handy all these years. Each book faster and faster. I'm trying to talk to you and little know exactly what you just said. But you know what? Let's hit the bottom of the screen here. Go to Shannon.com, okay, Carly? All you ladies in the chat right now, go to ShannonHumphrey.com, and it's right there. I'm gonna put it in the chat just so we can have it.
Do I click on live comments so I can see the comments? Right now I'm on private chat.
Oh,
I mean, no, that's me.
click
Can I
on my
check?
comments. Yeah, if you want to read them.
I'm not gonna lose you, am I?
You know what? You might.
Okay, I won't do it.
Let's go
I'll
to her
just
with
yeah.
because that's the only question I have on here. You ladies have any other questions for her? I have her here. She's a busy woman.
Oh, you're sweet.
I'm not rushing you, Shan. I'm rushing them. She's a busy woman. Come on. I got her right here. You guys get intimate knowledge from the author now before she really blows up.
She can they can feel free to reach out on Facebook, on my Facebook page, as well as on my
Okay.
website.
I've already linked your website. It's going to be in the description on my YouTube channel. So it's definitely going to be there. I'll put the Facebook one in there also, so they can
Okay.
contact you. So
Okay.
thank you for letting us chop it up with you,
Thank
Shannon. God,
you.
thank you, man. Now, oh, well, she says, oh, no problem. Her mom needs her to call back. Oh, there, Carly. Carly said, no problem. Your mom needs to get the heck off this damn show and call your mama back. Thank you. When your book comes out, when you first get is the skin words out, is it okay if we check back in with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know when I'm closing in on it,
Bet,
and when
bet.
I am expecting to have a release date, I'll let
Thank
you all
you.
know.
Thank you. You all have been talking to Arthur SY, aka Shannon Humphrey, the author of The Skin Trials and the upcoming book two, Skin Wars, coming to you soon in an Amazon Kindle near you. Shannon, thank you for blessing us again. Thank
Thank
you. So
you for
have a
always
great
being so
afternoon, or
sweet.
still morning time in LA here. So thank you for everybody who was in the chat participating. And
Thank
yeah, if
you.
before you sign off,
Huh? What now?
inspirational words for aspiring writers out there.
Oh, wow. At least 10 minutes every day, even if you are dictating on your phone. I sometimes
Okay.
I dictate into my notes while I'm walking. and I get so many thoughts out while and my mind is going while I walk, literally. So if you're an aspiring writer, don't think that you have to have some complicated setup or some kind of special time. Just 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there when you can to get the thoughts out.
Well, ladies, you heard that? Thank you for coming again.
Thank you for the love you've shown me
Joy.
over the years.
Have an awesome day.
You do the same.
Alrighty. Peace.
Bye.